All right, this is video number 7. Video number 7 is for documentation. Yes, I've been keeping up with the code as much as possible, and I do have new relevant information about all this stuff, and I'll go briefly into it. First off, the website will be available inside the final folder, inside the website folder. I have this shortcut, but just in case it doesn't work, the index is inside the HTML. This is the website that pops up. Have a simple little logo, since this is my Hummingbird engine. It's version 0.02. I have a simple splash screen where I have simple little jumps to all these sections. It's also here on the side. A brief introduction of this. So it's a short overview of the Hummingbird engine, a simple engine built around the Azul core. I have an email just in case someone wants to message me through it. I also have the features supplied. So this are some of the notable features. You can click on this, and right here, look, it says a class that generates terrains using a Targa file height map. Erklang supports these types, Azul supports these types, and supports these model types. I have some tricks on some things that really tripped me up the first time I was messing with Azul. I might add more of this later on, maybe not. I have a quick and dirty demonstration of setting up the engine. I mentioned to the user that the user settings are in this CPP. I mentioned that the user resources are in the user resources.cpp, and I mentioned that all of them are in their respective folders in the root directory. And I mentioned that you should always remember the string of what you name something. I give some examples of multi-mesh, multi-texture models, OpenGL shader language, Targas, PNGs and Targa images. Right here, uses the previous texture file and creates this. I give different examples right here. Right here, I have a load terrain. I load a sound, and ultimately where you start the default scene. Right here, it's been set to this default scene. And here I can show that we include Hummingbird core, and we can derive from scene and create our new scene. A scene contains all these necessary things. I have a generic, I have a foo sort of name where I just call everything game object type or user defined X or whatever. I also explain about the scene end and scene initialize, about what should be there. That stuff is here. And I go on talking about game objects and that they derive from all these types, and you derive from what you want. And a class with all 5 would look something like this. Apart from all of that, I also mention that any additional information is available in hyperlinks. So for example, if I don't know how to properly set up alarm 1, I can click alarm 1, and right here I give a brief demonstration, and then I can show right here in scene entry I need to register it, and on alarm 1 I do something, and then I can reset. Same thing for alarm 2 and 3. Going back to it, oops. I can go on a key press. I can look at all this information, see how it gets called. This was just a brief demonstration of something that I did. Triggers via a switch when a key is pressed. I can do it on collision, and I can mention right here, here's the collidable types that the user is able to use and what they want. They'll know because IntelliSense also helps in holding their hand, but I also remind the user on tricky things like collision that you have to also register and deregister in the scene code. all of this stuff that the user basically comes into contact with gets defined right here. Even in things like this, I also define, you know, if the object doesn't move, call this here. We call the update here. If it does, then you basically do it in the update or when the world position changes. So I do try to provide a few additional tips and hints there. The demo, that was the brief demo on this, and also somewhere in the classes or in the files is the all the demo game stuff that they are allowed to mess with. In terms of user friendliness, I've separated my engine stuff to be right here and the user stuff to be right here. For simplicity, as I've shown, just showing that everything has been basically commented. That I do also mention that the user only ever has to include Hummingbird Core. They don't have to, you know, include drawable or updatable or everything. And Hummingbird Core just holds, I believe I've mentioned it before, Hummingbird Core just basically holds all the includes, much like the Azul Core does the same. So again, trying to minimize all this stuff for the user. They have their own folder where they can do their own things. They have objects, scenes, and user settings. And that basically covers documentation, I guess.